Hi, and you're listening to Meeple. I'm PJ, and with me is Gareth, and today it is Replay Rewind, a Gencon recap. Gareth, how are you?
I am doing well. I am looking forward to hearing all about Gencon. I've never been. I saw photos, I saw videos, I saw live feeds, I've seen some YouTube stuff, but I want to hear about it from you. How was Gencon?
Gencon was overwhelming this year, which is surprising. I wasn't expecting that, given that it was my fourth Gencon and we were there last year. I think I had mentioned earlier in one of my videos or something, I did not take our advice, and I tried to do too many things, and I got myself a little overwhelmed.
What in what way? What, just you didn't get enough done, or there was just so much to see, or you just weren't very well planned? You didn't follow our advice.
So in conversations on our podcast and conversations you and I've had, conversations I've had with Board Dad on his live, I'm a collector of friendships, right? So the things I was looking forward to at Gen Con was meeting everyone, for the first time. But I want quality time, and I didn't necessarily get that because everyone's busy. They're working booths, or they've got to go to meetings, or they've got an event to go to, or there's so many things going on. I can't monopolize everyone's time. I didn't have this conversational awareness, the social awareness. I don't know. I upset myself inadvertently because I couldn't get the lengthy, heartfelt conversations that I was hoping for.
I empathise. I remember the UK Games Expo being the same. Like, so many people to see. You saw them once, went, I'll see you later for games, or I'll see you later for chats, and then you didn't see them for the next 3 days.
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yes. And me being this social butterfly and being gregarious and wanting to get to know everybody at all times, I can't do that. And sometimes I ended up stepping on myself and getting in my own way. And I didn't realize it till midway through Gen Con. I'm like, I just acted like a complete ass to this person that I've been wanting to see forever. And now I can't take it back.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody took offense.
I hope not.
It probably was just you. It was probably just you. Everyone else was having a good time.
Yeah, I have a really hard time containing my excitement.
Really? No, never. Who did you see and who didn't you see? Maybe out of the Instagram community, because I guess that's where most of our time is spent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I met Game with Me under the Evertree. He was did I say it right? Evertree? Yes.
Yep.
I met Jacob first. That was the first time meeting someone in real life, and it was incredible. We got a little bit of time together, but then there were other times in the course of the con where we were trying to coordinate. We were texting each other, hey, let's meet here, let's meet there, and things just didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't work out.
It's got to go with the flow. I think it's just.
Yep.
I think maybe when we do a rewind recap for next year, about next year's expos or even Essen coming up. There's don't be hard on yourself.
I know, but it's my nature.
Who else did you see?
Then I saw Gnarly Carly Gaming.
Cool.
I got to talk with her for a minute. Now, I was beating myself up because I was really looking forward to talking to her, and I didn't get a lot of time with her in the beginning. But I was lucky enough on Sunday, we did get a heartfelt goodbye that felt really meaningful. It felt very quality. For me, it did. And so I felt less uncomfortable about our initial meeting because we did get to say goodbye. That felt meaningful. So I was really happy about that. And then I ran into... So I think I thought about changing my handle from the Cajun Gamer to the Meeple Collector, because apparently I'm collecting meeples now. I ran into Random Meeple, who I have nicknamed Randy, and apparently it sticks.
It was on his live this week, I do believe.
It was.
Yeah, I saw his live, and he was Randy. And I was like, I'm sure this is who PJ was talking to.
That is exactly who he was talking to. And then he was with Mexi Meeple.
That's right.
And there was the Then there was Masked Meeple, and then your board game Meeple. So I'm just,
All the
collecting
meeples.
Meeples. I'm going to collect them all and just, I wish I could bring you all home with me. It'd be great.
Oh, thanks.
But
Is
um,
you were going to meet up with Board Gamer Girl? Is that right?
we
That's her.
did,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, yes. I met up with her. She had some flight delays and
that's right. She
issues.
told me. Yeah,
She came in late Thursday evening, and I was able to meet with her and get her over to the vaccination line where we get our wristbands. And then I escorted her back to our hotel where we played a 6-player Obsession.
was that the first time she played Obsession?
No, she's played it. It was her first time playing multiplayer. She
Oh,
plays it
okay. She plays a lot of
solo,
solo. Yeah, that's right.
a lot of solo games. So that's exciting. And at that point, that was our 6th game of Obsession for the week.
That is good
The
going.
obsession is real. The obsession is real.
Is there anyone you didn't meet who you planned to that you really kicked yourself, or is that
Oh my God, that list is too long. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of them. I don't know if
you
I
need
can
to
list them all right
organise
now.
like an Insta meetup, and you all meet? It's like 25 minutes. Everyone says hi, 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 and then everyone
Yep.
leaves again. That's probably the best way of doing it.
So I met Professor Meg very briefly. That's one that and it was really, really brief conversation with her. Um, but she talked about possibly doing an Instagram meetup. I don't know if it happened or she was working.
That's the
She was
problem.
there
Everyone's
with
got
this.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
agendas are a
yeah.
nightmare.
One of the things is that we've gone back and forth. We paid the extra money for the weekend pass to the games library
Hmm.
um, on the field of Lucas Oil Stadium.
Okay, yeah, I saw the pictures. Although you went
So
live, I think, a video.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we really enjoyed that experience. But the problem is not everyone paid for the pass.
What, you could just go
So
in?
you can't. You have to pay because there's a lot. They've got this massive library of 1,000, 2,000 games that you
How
can just
much?
check out and play. Um, it's $12 for a day pass and $12 for an evening pass. This I kind of criticize Gencon a little bit for. It should just be all day, but it's not.
Yeah.
The daytime pass is from like 7 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, and then the evening pass is 4 in the evening until 2 in the morning or whatever, right? So it's like you're not even getting the whole day. So I think we might skip that and
Mm,
take advantage of the ballroom at the JW Marriott where it's open gaming.
that's what you want.
Um,
Because
I
yeah, the UK
really,
Games Expo
yeah,
has got it's a tenner for I think it's tenner for the whole weekend. So you just give them a £10 deposit, which I think you get back.
really.
I think so. And it's just an
Well,
open gaming.
you do not get money back at Gen Con
I think. I'm
unless an
sure.
event gets canceled, then you get your money back.
Yeah, if it's an event, you have to pay for. But if it's just you're just taking games from the Open Games Library, I think I'm sure it's a tenner. It's like £10.
Yeah.
But yeah, paying for it and then having to pay for the evenings as well. I would just go Open Gaming and just take them.
Yep.
Either play what. I guess that leads us on to. So if you had Open Gaming, what games did you play there?
So we actually didn't go to open gaming. We spent a lot of time in the games library.
Okay, because you paid for it.
Because we paid for it. That was the first thing. The second one is there's so many games, and we had a long list of games because they publish the games library list in advance,
Hmm.
so you know what they have. So it gave us an opportunity to play some games that we've been thinking about buying or whatever, and get a feel for them. And we played about 8 to 10 games over the course of 2 days, and we weren't there the whole time. Obviously, we're like 4 and 5 hour windows, but we got to play a lot of games. And there's 3 games that we played at the games library that we really want to get our hands on a copy of because we had so much fun playing them.
What were those?
So the first one is a 2-player game called Morels.
Not heard of it.
It's a card. Yeah, it's a card game where you're picking mushrooms and then you're cooking them on a skillet and a campfire. You saute them with some butter or cider, and
What
it's a cute little game, but a 2-player, and it was a lot of fun.
card game or
Um, Card game,
yeah?
card. Yeah, yeah. But it was very cool. The
Hmm.
next one was Mississippi Queen, which was a release of the 1997 Spiel des Jahres game with the Black Ship expansion, and it's beautiful. We
Hmm.
had a lot of fun playing that. Um, it kind of took me back to my roots growing up on the Mississippi River in Louisiana and the paddle boats and everything. Uh, it was really cool, and we really enjoyed that game. So we're trying to find a copy of that as well. So that was kind of exciting.
What was the third one?
The third one was, God, we played a whole bunch of games. What was the third one? Now I just blanked. Rome, City of Marble was kind of cool. It was a little puzzle game. You're building Rome up in a magnificent way with these, these diamond shaped pieces. It was pretty magical, actually. It was a lot of fun. So, and then we got to play some others that were just, okay, well, we played it. We don't need to buy a copy. We got it out of our system.
Hmm.
Or this is a really terrible game. We don't ever want to play it. The one that we wish we would have played was Quacks of Quedlingburg. Everyone's played it. There's
Haven't you played
upgrades.
that game?
No, we
How
have
can
not.
you not played Quacks?
Because
I'm
no one around
surprised.
here has it, and I don't have it. So,
I've sold it,
oh, well,
but
then maybe I don't need to play it.
only because why'd I sell it? I think we've got
That's a
other pushing
really
that
good
games.
question.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. I think most of it's space. It just didn't hit
Yep.
the table as often, and it got sold.
Now here's the interesting thing. After Gen Con, everyone was posting, like everyone does, their Gen Con haul,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And we posted our picture too. 13 games and 4 different expansions to games we already own and various other things. But I am happy to announce here that your Gen Con haul will be in the mail tomorrow.
What's my Gen Con haul?
Well, you're going to get a few items from Gen Con that I'm sending to you
This is
tomorrow in the
amazing.
mail.
This is like the most exciting things that have happened. I feel I'm included.
Of course.
Yeah, tell me the shipping bill. Shipping to the UK is not cheap.
Well, I'm also sending a Gen Con haul to Gosia in Poland.
Are
So
you? You are a legend.
yes.
Well, thank you.
Yes, of course.
I'm intrigued. I
Um,
can't wait for it to arrive.
no, it's going to be great. There were some surprises that we didn't expect, and we got so much stuff, and it's like, oh man, we saw this. We got to send this to Gareth, right? It's just,
Oh, I'm a
it
little
was
bit
kind of like,
excited now.
we looked at each other and said, yep, we're putting this in the package. We're sending it to Gareth.
Oh,
It's going to be
thank
great.
you.
Yeah,
Well, I look forward to. We have to
absolutely.
have a whole episode about me opening it. Maybe I should do that as a live Instagram live, everyone.
Yes.
Talk about shipping things. Side story. I ordered Wonderland's Wool Deluxe version, War, with
Did
the
you?
premium chips, and they said it doesn't include it included shipping and VAT. So it's shipped, but it is coming from the States. I don't
Oh,
know. I'll
wow.
wait and see.
Oof.
It's just mid Atlantic currently.
Wow.
So we'll see whether we get stung for any duties or whether it really was included because it was a little bit vague. But, so yeah, so you played some. What was the worst game you played? You said just
The worst,
is anything you
the
went, oh,
worst
this is
game.
rubbish.
Ooh. So I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this.
You won't. It's just an opinion, isn't it? It doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's just you didn't enjoy it.
No, that's true. Terra Mystica.
Mm.
Mm.
How many players?
That's a it was just the two of us.
Yeah. I had Terra Mystica. We played it 2-player. I sold it. I've I say 6 months ago rebought it, but it's not a 2-player game.
No. Well,
You-
one of the problems is we've never played it before, so it's always been on our list.
Yeah.
And we got it out of the games library, started reading the rules, and was like, nope. We didn't even play it. We got halfway through the rules and realized, first of all, this is too heavy for how we were feeling at that moment. So
Yeah,
to be fair,
it's quite heavy.
To be fair, the environment also, right? It's hot outside. We've been walking around. We're exhausted. We're just happy to be sitting down and playing a game. Maybe it was not the best choice.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think for 2 players, we've got I think it's a variant of War Game Geek that you basically cut off half the map. It makes it much tighter, which it works. It does make it better as a 2-player game, but I'd recommend it with 4 or 5.
And it's interesting because I really enjoy the Terra Mystica realm from Stonemaier Games Rolling
Oh
Realms.
yeah, yeah.
I really like that card, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, we could play this. No, we can't.
Did I see there's a roll and write coming out, or is there
Uh,
a lighter version of Terra Mystica? I'm sure I saw something.
so I can't say, but I will tell you, since you brought it up, there's a very exciting roll and write that was released at Gencon, and it was a limited run, and that is Twilight
Oh yeah,
Inscription.
it's on the pre-order list. It looks
Yeah,
amazing as a fully epic. It's like, isn't it like 1.5 to 2 hours?
it. That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I did not. I didn't see a copy. I've only seen videos, but it was real. People talked about it. Um,
four
Most of the
sheets. It's got four
conversations, yeah,
sheets.
yeah, yeah. Most of the conversations we had was, "Did you get it? I wish I got it." There was a lot of that, of course.
Did anyone? Because I thought
Um,
it was just announced. And the pre was there some pre-order copies there? Unless
I
they're
can't
review
really.
copies.
It was some sort of. It was either review copies or it was a limited printing. I don't. For Gen Con only. I don't know. I think maybe there was 100 copies total. I'm not really sure. I saw a video where they filmed the line at the booth and they picked up a copy and had fun. So I don't know, but
Yes, I think
that
it's
was the
like
big.
August, September, October release
Yeah,
date
yeah,
over here.
yeah. That's the big roll and write coming up for
Yeah.
sure. Now the hot item of Gen Con, the Gen Con pick of the year was kites.
Kites. I've not even heard of
Yeah,
that.
it is a fun party game where you're trying to. It's a cooperative game where you're trying to keep the kites in the air, but you do that
Oh,
by these little hourglasses, right? Little sand glasses and things like that. Um, I don't want to say too much because I want to reserve it for our party game
okay.
episode
Yeah, we better
that's
keep
coming
that
up
for your
soon.
because you haven't got many
Yeah,
party games.
I don't because party games are not my jam, but that was a lot of fun. I think it blindsided everyone. It was at Floodgate Games, the guys who
Okay.
published
Yeah, yeah.
Sagrada, and yeah, everyone was great. That ties back to meeting people. So I can't remember what day it was, but I met Sheer Boredom,
Uh-huh.
Roberto. He was demoing kites, and it was another situation where we only got to talk for a few minutes. Um, because I walked up to him and he's like, I came up from behind him and he's like, "Who's this?" And I said, "PJ," and he's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Cajun Gamer." He's like, "Oh my God, Cajun Gamer." I forget, right? I don't go around introduce myself as a Cajun Gamer, but I guess that's how people know me.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So we got to talk for just a few minutes, but then he was demoing games, so we had to let that go. That was another one where I wish we would have got to visit and hang out longer, but we
Mm.
didn't. That's okay. But still, kites was the big one.
And what else? What other
Um,
games did you pick up? Because I'm sure I saw
um,
there were queues for various.
oh
Did you
yes,
get Acropolis? That
I did get Acropolis.
did you enjoy
Um,
Acropolis?
I love it. I think Acropolis is the game that we picked up at Gen Con that we've played the most so
Yeah,
far.
we played it loads since
Um,
his UK Games
well,
Expo.
it's so accessible,
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's easy. You don't have to punch any cardboard because it's already done for you. So it's just like throw it on the table and go, which is awesome. Um, so we played that the most. The game that we enjoyed the most, um, that I think got us the most excited, and that's Creature Comforts. Um, that game is fantastic.
I've never played it. What is it?
Um, so you're playing woodland creatures who are trying to gather comforts and develop your home in anticipation for the winter. And of course, we got the bundle with the upgraded wooden components and the animals and the upgraded fancy dice. And
Was it a Kickstarter? Was it?
I I think it was. It's been out for a little while,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's not like it wasn't new to Gen Con, but it was new to us.
What's the mechanics? What sort of
So
game
it's
is it? Okay.
worker placement, yeah. And a little okay. So the dice. The interesting thing is like it's a semi blind worker placement, right? So each season You flip over the cards that show you if you go here, you'll get these resources, but it requires a specific dice roll. And you have two family dice that are in the color, your player color, and you roll those first. Everyone does. And then you place your workers on the board. Then there's a set of 4 community village dice, and these are all D6.
Mm-hmm.
Then you roll those. So it's entirely possible that you may not be able to activate the space where you placed a worker because the dice roll didn't work out for you.
Can you mitigate that?
Yeah, you can. Whenever you go somewheres and you don't get, you don't activate that space, you get what's called a lesson learned. And it's a little chip with a Band-Aid on it. And you can use it in future turns to either add +1 or -1 a die roll in future turns. And you can stack them.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Quite nice.
Yeah. So it's extremely cute, very cute, but really solid game mechanics. It's a lot of fun. There's also tableau building in front of you with your cards or your comforts. And the comforts are like socks and snowshoes and a hearth and a pantry, right? That's on the cards. But there's also board games. And they did, like one card, the image is Wingspan, and another card, the image is Everdell. It's an artistic
Nice tying
version.
Yeah.
But, it's very, very cute. So that was the big surprise. We've enjoyed that tremendously. Yeah, that's I think Katie's favorite game that we picked up at Gencon this year.
What about Terracotta Army? I'm sure you were queuing for that.
So we did pick up Terracotta Army. We've got a copy. It has not hit the table yet. So we actually did a pretty good job. This weekend we got a lot. We picked up let's see, these are the games that hit the table that we purchased from Gencon in the last 2 days. So Creature Comforts, we played twice. River Dragons, we played twice. The Spill, okay, that's a story. I'll have to tell you about The Spill. We played 3 times. Sobek, which is a 2-player game from Pandasaurus, we played twice. Kites, we played 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
Acropolis is 8 or 10 times. Picture Perfect, we played twice. We also played Winter Haven Woods 3 times, a little card game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah. So, So we've still got a few to hit. Notice Terracotta Army's not on there. Oh, I would like to say that one of my objectives was achieved. I did get a copy of Sleeping Gods.
Good.
It is still in the shrink. We have not opened it yet.
I've not played it.
But no. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really looking forward to breaking into it. A lot of people told me, "Oh, you got a copy. It's great." And I went and bought a second copy. I'm like, "Okay, well, great. I did the right thing." So mission accomplished.
Any learnings for next year?
Be patient. That's important. Don't overload your schedule or overload your emotions. I think we're going to skip the games library and go for open gaming.
Yeah.
The other one is the food trucks. Okay. Gen Con is always the first weekend in August, and it is always extremely hot. And you're going to wait. There was one day where I waited in line an hour to get my lunch. So I think we're done. We will not be going to the food trucks in the future. I think what we want to do, now this is pending, if we can get a hotel that's connecting to the convention center, we're going to pack like sandwiches, cold cuts and things, and just keep that in the refrigerator and just run back to the hotel and eat. I think that's the cheapest way to go. That way we can spend more money on games.
It's expensive. Yeah, food is always so expensive.
Yeah, it really is. It's ridiculous. So I think the skipping of the food trucks and the skipping of the games library is probably the biggest lessons. That, and of course, allow yourself, if you only get to meet somebody that you've really been looking forward to, and I know you want to talk to them for hours, and I get it. You got to allow yourself that you only get 2 minutes.
I reckon open gaming. Sometimes, like in UK Games Expo, we would meet up with everybody in the evening and just say we'll be roughly here, and then it allowed us to meet people up. But it was just that accessible zone, and then people broke up into smaller groups or went off and did their own thing?
I thought that's what we were going to do,
In
and it just, in theory, and it just didn't happen.
yeah,
So I think it shows the difference between UK Games Expo and Gen Con. Gen Con is really focused on buying games. It's a shopping spree. That's what it is. It's about socializing and buying, you know, whereas Origins has a lot more open gaming
right,
space.
okay,
It has a vendor hall, but it's not as big and it's not as focused on buying things. Um, Gen Con's about buying things and play testing, which we play tested so many games, so many good games. In fact, the very first game that I play tested on the first morning was a game called Apostocracy, set in Victoria, England.
nice,
And yeah, it's really cool. So you play a game, an abbreviated version of Whist.
okay,
So unlike Obsession, where you host a whist, you actually play whist, and then it's trick taking, and that determines player order, and then when you're done, everyone takes 4 actions, and then whist and 4 actions, and you do that for 3 rounds. The developer of the game found me on Instagram, and then found our podcast and binged it, and subsequently went out and bought a copy of Obsession.
nice. Thank you for
Yes,
binging it, and thank you
yes.
for listening to our obsession about obsession, which you've mentioned every show I think so far.
Absolutely, and we totally appreciate it. So that was really
That is
fantastic.
cool.
And we
Yeah, no,
got to
thank
play
you.
this so many other games, so that was great. So I know we're running close on time, so let me tell you a story about when we got home.
Go on him.
Okay, so Gen Con's over, we've said our goodbyes, we've made all our purchases. As we pull up in the driveway, what's waiting for us in the doorstep? The spill.
Is that a big box or a
Uh,
small box?
I mean, it's a small box. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a small box. It's a medium sized. It's a standard, right? So it was selling at Gen Con, but we had backed the Kickstarter project. It's a cooperative game where you've got an oil well that's spilling oil, and you're trying to save all the wildlife creatures um, before they get contaminated,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to stop and contain the spill while you're at it. And it's a 1 to 4 player game. Unlike, say, Pandemic and other cooperative games, you always have the same 4 specialists. So if it's a 1 player, you're going to choose 4 roles and control them all.
Right, yeah, got you.
That's true 2, 3, and 4 players. So we got a couple of plays out of that. It's pretty fantastic.
Is it good?
We yeah, it's very good.
The Spill.
The
Check it out.
Spill. We saw it at Gen Con last year, and it was just a prototype. And because I'm from Louisiana and the BP oil spill was so huge back in 2011, that was pretty traumatic. I asked the guy, I was like, "Are there any triggers in this game?" And he was like, his first reaction was like, "No." He goes, "You know what? Wait. I don't know what triggers for you." I was like, "I can give you the elevator pitch, and then you can determine." And it it didn't trigger anything because it's generic enough.
Right.
The oil well itself in the center is a dice tower. So you take the black oil dice and you drop them in the dice tower, and then they come out the bottom in 1 of 4 quadrants. That determines where the oil
That's
is
where it
spilling.
spreads.
Which,
Okay, yeah, spilling,
yeah,
yeah.
and that was a really
Yeah.
cool feature and mechanic. So he gave us his elevator pitch, and I'm like, okay, I think this is going to be okay. I don't think it's going to trigger any trauma, and it didn't. And we backed it, and it was waiting for us. So while it was not a Gen Con purchase, it
really was a Gen Con purchase. It was a Gen Con
Yeah,
purchase.
okay, well, I'll take that. Thank you. So yeah, so that was fun.
So I guess to close, how many? You were talking previously about how many games you'd played through your games collection this year. You must have gone backwards now, or you gone?
Yeah. So I think it was 93.3% right before Gen Con.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Before Gen Con, we were at 93.3. When we returned home from Gen Con with all of our new purchases, we fell backwards to 84.6.
Wow. What's that now?
We're at 90.1.
Good work. Well done. Puts me to shame.
And that's how you do it, boys and girls. Play your games.
Never leave them on the shelf.
And if you are going to leave them on the shelf, just give me a call. Find me at the Cajun Gamer on Instagram, and if
You'll
you put me up for a weekend,
you'll work the through.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll come play them for you. So
I think an awesome example of Gencon and all the things that I missed and all the things that I look forward to seeing whenever this parcel arrives. So thank you in advance.
It'll be fantastic. Absolutely.
So thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back very soon with another podcast of Meeple to Meeple. Thank you, PJ.
Thank you.